Reporting indirect speech is what happens when you explain what someone said without using their exact words. Let's start with an example of direct reported speech like those used above. Elizabeth said, "I like coffee." As indirect reported speech, it looks like this. Elizabeth said she liked coffee. You can see that the subject I has been changed to she, to show who is being spoken about. If I'm reporting the direct speech of someone else and this person says I'd repeat the sentence exactly as they said it. If I'm reporting this person's speech indirectly to someone else, however, I'd speak about them in the third person using she, he, or they. You may also notice that the tense changed here. If I like coffee is what she said. This can become she liked coffee in indirect speech. However, you might just as often hear someone say something like she said she likes coffee. This still usually makes sense if you're talking about something that's continuing to happen. Since people's likes and preferences tend to change over time and not right away, it makes sense to keep them in the present tense. Indirect speech often uses the word that before what was said. She said that she liked coffee. There is no real difference between she said she liked coffee and she said that she liked coffee. However, using that can help make the different parts of the sentence clearer. Let's look at a few other examples. I said I was going outside today. They told me that they wanted to order pizza. He mentioned it was raining. She said that her father was coming over for dinner. Are you answering what I'm saying? No, I'm on the phone with somebody. Sorry, I don't mean to be rude. What was that? I just said I was on the phone with somebody. When reporting questions in indirect speech, you can use words like whether or if with verbs that show questioning, such as to ask or to wonder. She asked, "Is that a new restaurant?" She asked if that was a new restaurant. In any case, when you're reporting a question, you can say that someone was wondering or wanted to know something. Notice that these verbs don't directly show that someone asked a question. They don't describe an action that happened at a single point in time. But you can usually assume that someone was wondering or wanted to know what they asked. She asked, "Is that a new restaurant?" She was wondering if that was a new restaurant. She wanted to know whether that was a new restaurant. It can be tricky to know how to use tenses when reporting indirect speech. Let's break it down tense by tense. Sometimes indirect speech backshifts or moves one tense further back into the past. We already saw this in the example from above. She said, "I like coffee." She said she liked coffee. Also, as mentioned above, backshifting doesn't always happen. This might seem confusing, but it isn't that difficult to understand once you start using reported speech regularly. What tense you use in indirect reported speech often just depends on when what you are reporting happened or was true. Let's look at some examples of how direct speech in certain tenses commonly changes or doesn't when it's reported as indirect speech. To learn about all the English tenses or for a quick review, watch this video. I said I play video games. I said that I played video games. Or I said that I play video games. Backshifting into the past or staying in the present here can change the meaning slightly. If you use that first example, it's unclear whether or not you still play video games. All we know is that you said you played them in the past. If you use the second example, though, you probably still play video games, unless you were lying for some reason. However, the difference in meaning is so small you can use either one and you won't have a problem. I said I am playing video games. I said that I was playing video games. Or I said that I'm playing video games. In this case, you'd likely use the first example if you were telling a story about something that happened in the past. You could use the second example to repeat or stress what you just said. For example, hey, want to go for a walk? No, I'm playing video games. But it's such a nice day. I said that I'm playing video games. Mary said, I have read that book. Mary said that she had read that book. Or Mary said that she has read that book. The past perfect is used a lot in writing and other kind of narration. This is because it helps point out an exact moment in time when something was true. The past perfect isn't quite as useful in conversation where people are usually more interested in what's true now. So, in a lot of cases, people would use the second example above when speaking. She said, I have been watching that show. She said that she had been watching that show. Or she said that she has been watching the show. These examples are similar to the other above. You could use the first example whether or not this person was still watching the show. But if you used the second example, it had probably seemed like you either knew or guessed that she was still watching it. You told me I charged my phone. You told me that you had charged your phone. Or you told me that you charged your phone. Here, most people would probably just use the second example because it's simpler and gets across the same meaning. You told me I was charging my phone. You told me that you had been charging your phone. Or you told me that you were charging your phone. Here the difference is between whether you had been charging your phone before or were charging your phone at that time. However, a lot of people would still use the second example in either situation.